characters. She might have a couple of cameos, she says. So there's Watson, female or male, she says, 30 plus. Tyler, who's now grown up, he's a doctor, and he comes to see Holmes. He's a doctor at St Bernard's. Emma Wiggins, female, 18 to 30. I don't know what that means. Daughter of the man suspected of stealing. Elderly woman, male or female, she's got. It sounds funny, but it's that kind of thing. Some of the humour comes from someone you've just seen as a policeman or whatever, somebody putting a dress on and a Scottish. Lestrade, male or female of the yard, blustery. The Countess, stroke Irene Adler, female, 25 plus, American accent, can sing. There are a few songs in it, but they're kind of like Christmas Carol, kind of cheery, you know, setting the atmosphere kind of songs. It's not a one-year amusement like that. Fanny, female, 18 to 25, Scrooge's niece, dresser to the Countess. Mr. Topper, female or male, manager of Cosmopolitan Hotel. Martha, Tiny Tim's sister. Henry Burke, male, 50 plus. Mary Watson, female, 30 plus. Mrs. Windigate, female, 30 plus, Scottish, giggler. Old Joe, male or female, 30 plus. Goose seller, gooses. Geese play a big role in this show. Possibly incident, the infamous Sherlock Holmes returns to London, but he's not the same. Moriarty is dead. What does Sherlock do now? He's lost the Napoleon to his Wellington, the Salieri to his Mozart. He insert other great rival pair here. I don't know if that was an instruction to me or just a joke, but anyway. What is to happen on the great chessboard of life when one doesn't have a worthy opponent with whom to spar? No one can raise Holmes from his depression until Timothy Cratchit turns up at the door, no longer tiny, but all grown up and convinced that his old mentor, Ebenezer Scrooge, who had turned his miserly ways around following that Christmas, has been murdered. Murder, or is it? One thing is for sure, foul things afoot. We follow the case with a variety of colourful suspects, witnesses, and spirited others. Throw in a goose or two, and we have a party. Actors, 1 to 4. I might consider opening a couple of the roles out to cameo parts, if anyone fancies it. The 4 actors play 16 roles between them, if I don't cameo, and also help narrate and move the play along. So it's a challenge, but I hope a fun one. I'll probably be looking at workshopping the play, so creative types and ideas are very welcome. Set. I've no idea what I'm going to do for set yet, but I think I'll take the as written advice and have minimal set or a revolve. She says, Ian, I will hug you into submission when I'm back. And she's put the secret waiter down. Props and wardrobe. I need props and costume people, please. Props and costume will be working together here with quick changes and changes in character, etc. Crew. SM is sorted. She needs ASM. She needs lights, sound, set, props, costume. She's got her prompt. She's got her production manager. She has scripts if anyone wants them, and or if anyone wants to throw their hat into the ring for any roles, cast and or crew, just drop me an email, or she's not here, speak to me. I'll be in the bar afterwards if you want to give me a name, and I'll pass everything on to her. It's a great show. It's very, very funny. It's clever all the way through. If you know either Holmes or Dickens, you spot clever little things. Like the opening line is, Moriarty was dead to begin with. So you've got that. Brilliant. You sit there chuckling to yourself and patting yourself on the back because you got the reference all the way through. Great show. Really looking forward to it. That's your Sherlock Carol. I don't even know what's next. I think we're on to January, obviously. And yeah, I've got to tell you about this one as well. The more eagle-eyed of you will have spotted that there's something different in Bar News to what you've got on the sheets in front of you. Last minute, so this play I wanted in the season from day one. I said, got to do this play, absolutely brilliant, got to do it. Applied for a license, we've given a few for 25, we're not giving out any more. Come back in 27. So we got an alternative, Hannah Humbles, not Hannah Taylor. Got another one, Fine. Just as Bar News was going to print, they got back in touch because they remembered tomorrow, wasn't it?
Yeah, tomorrow.
The wonderful Tomorrow at Nick Hearn remembered that we wanted to do it and said, they've just released some licenses. Do you still want to do it? So we jumped at it. So that's why it's different. We're thrilled because I really want to do this play. Hannah Humbles.
Yeah, so obviously
obviously, because I only found out a couple of weeks ago that I was actually doing this, I have remembered my right to speech. So, so thank you, Clive.
Pleasure.
And Sarah. So, The Unfriend by Stephen Moffat is a dark comedy that explores the consequences of an unexpected encounter. The story revolves around a couple, which is Peter and Debbie, who meet an American woman, Elsa, on holiday. They become friends during the trip, but Elsa's behaviour is somewhat off-putting. When they return to England, they don't expect to hear from her again. However, Elsa turns up on their doorstep claiming she's in town and needs a place to stay. The couple reluctantly let her in, but they quickly realise that Elsa is not just a quirky, intrusive guest, she is dangerous and unsettling. The play deals with themes of moral obligation and the unsettling feeling of being trapped by social niceties. The couple find themselves in an increasingly awkward situation as they try to figure out how to deal with Elsa, who has now become a threatening presence in their lives. So the characters, the cast is of 7, which makes change to Oliver, which was about 40. The ages are just a guideline. However, Peter and Debbie should be old enough to have two children. One's a young adult and one is a late teenager. So there's Debbie, who I've sort of aged around 40s to she's a practical woman. She's married to Peter. She's very grounded initially, and then she grows increasingly uneasy about Elsa's presence, struggling with social etiquette and a sense of obligation to accommodate Elsa's stay. Then there's Peter, who is Debbie's husband. He struggles with the discomfort and social obligations brought by Elsa's presence, and although sceptical of Elsa, he's reluctant to confront her and often relies on Debbie to make decisions. This passivity leads to some awkward moments as he tries to navigate the unsettling situation. There's Elsa, who's 40s to 60s, there's no really age guideline there. She's an American woman from Denver who initially seems friendly but soon reveals a dark manipulative side. She arrives uninvited at Peter and Debbie's home, intrusive and unpredictable, which leads to tension and discomfort. So obviously she needs to have a convincing American accent. Then there's the neighbour, who is literally just called the neighbour. He's a bit older, so maybe 60s plus. A smaller role, but very important, emphasising the social pressures the couple face. This character highlights the contrast between the couple's private discomfort and their public facade, adding to the pressure to maintain politeness despite Elsa's intrusion. Then there's Alex, who is a young adult. He is the son of Peter and Debbie. He's contrast with his parents in handling the social discomfort brought by Elsa's presence. He is blunt and willing to challenge the awkward situation, adding tension and dark humour to the drama. Then there's Rosie, who is the younger sibling of Peter and Debbie. She's late teens, early 20s, plays a key role in depicting the tension within the family. Unlike her parents, she freely expresses her irritation and awkwardness, reflecting her age difference to formalities and social obligations. There's PC Junkin, who is a police officer, male but any age. He only appears in the second half of Act 2 to investigate Elsa's unsettling behaviour. His interactions add humour and highlight the absurdity of the situation, though he is unaware of the deeper personal dynamics at play. And then finally, there is a reporter who can be any gender and any age, and this is going to be recorded in the style of a true crime documentary with flashing images coming up and things like that. And they also must have a convincing American accent. So my vision, the play opens on the deck of a cruise ship, which would just be a basic set with some deck chairs and a gauze with a projection on it. It would be nice to have some wave-like sound effects. The rest of the play is set in a suburban house in England. The floor of the cruise ship and the living room will be the same because you can't really have 2 different floors. And I was thinking just, a basic floorboard, wooden floorboard effect. I was thinking of having a staircase going up the centre stage and leading off. And then the centre stage right exit to be the bathroom and the main entrance for the house to be downstage right. I'm envisioning lots of family photos or baby photos on the walls and things like that, because obviously it's a nice modern family home. And then I have a sofa centre stage with a rug on the floor, because everyone loves a rug. There will be a kitchen as well upstage left, which will just have a different floor, just to show the difference in rooms, so maybe like a tiled floor or something like that. I would need cabinets and a fridge and a working tap, if possible. I don't think it's actually that I don't think I actually need to have it's one glass of water, but it's fun. The fridge does get opened, but doesn't need to work. I'm not fussed about that. The kitchen will be set up slightly further back than the rest of the set because there's less action that takes place in there. However, there is a very poignant moment at the end of the play. Sound and lighting wise, the main point that I want to say, I've sort of already mentioned it, the recording of the true crime documentary. This will be projected somewhere, I'm not sure where yet. There's also another sort of FaceTime kind of call that will be filmed as well. And I would like to get those filmed ASAP so we can start using it in rehearsals. So if there's anyone interested in filming and editing this, please can you let me know. Thank you. I mentioned the waves of the cruise ship. There are also a few other sound effects like phones ringing, doorbells and things like that. Lighting wise, there are some scenes which end at night and start the scene the next day. So just different levels. There's nothing too crazy there apart from the projector, which if it's already set up, I don't know, but it's just sort of finding a place of where to put that. Props and wardrobe. So the play set in modern day, as mentioned as well, it opens on the cruise ship. So on holiday, summery clothes, beach bags, sunglasses, deck chairs, etc. And then when they return home, it's back to the UK, so it's probably going to be jumpers and jeans. The neighbour is slightly older than Peter and Debbie, so maybe trousers and a sweatshirt, something like that. And there's also a police officer, so we need to find a PC uniform. And I'll get a full props list sent out as soon as I have a props team. Current crew, it's very thin on the ground. I've got Sharon, who's stage manager, and James, who's sound. That's it. So if anyone else wants to get involved, please let me know. Auditions, rehearsals, and show dates. So the auditions will be the first sort of 2 weeks in December, maybe September, maybe the middle of September. I'm not 100% sure yet. And I'm not having any specific days for rehearsals until I have the cast and their availability because it's quite a small cast. And then the show dates are the 16th to the 24th of January and a matinee on the 24th as well. And obviously I'll be in the bar afterwards if anyone's got any questions.
I mentioned it to a few people I was speaking to in the bar last week after I Love You, You're Perfect, and they both went, oh my God, I love that play. So, did anyone see it in the West End? Yeah, I mean, it's, anyway, you know how good play is. Okay, so we come to the final, the final play of the first half of the evening before we have a break. We're going to have a break, just a short one, just to get yourself drinks, go to the loo or whatever. Come back because we've got a lot to get through and it means we end earlier at the end. So the February production, beautiful play. I was in it once. Learned how to foxtrot for it, I remember. Jerry Evans. Coral Walton.
I think I've aged a bit. Welcome. Lovely to see Sandows Clyde dancer. Some of you may know, some of you may not. It's an Irish play by brilliant playwright Brian Friel. Now, Luna isn't a place, it's a festival, a harvest festival. Used to be surrounded by the pagan god Lu. So Luna was the first day of the harvest period in the summertime. It's about a very Catholic family in Donegal in 90 whole life together, a very difficult life. The play is just so wonderful because it's full of the struggles and passions, their hopes and dreams. All of life is there and is brought out through the play. The dancing bit comes because dancing is a release for their emotions, really, and what's going to happen to them. And it's a time of change. It's 1936, change within their own family circumstances, change within the world, and change within Irish culture. Fabulous play. The style is very real. Now, I normally go for minimalistic type stuff. Two chairs is my scene, really. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge for me. But the challenge is going to be brilliant because it's a very theatrical play, and because it's a memory, the whole thing is a memory. It gives me theatrical conventions to use carefully, but allows lots of opportunity for backstage crew, an imaginative crew that can give me beautiful lighting that set the scene in Ireland in 1936, and it's through a memory. And sound, I have in my head a soundscape, vibrant women within this Irish community. I'm sorry, I'm shaking, aren't I? It's not formal dancing, it's release, passion, wild, and I think it's going to be great. But I'll probably need somebody to help and advise with the movement bit. Equally, I'll need a dialect coach. I don't know where I'll get one of those from.
We've got people.
But,
A couple in the audience I can think of.
now, I said it's a memory play. The memory is put across by a narrator, Michael. Michael tells the story of what happened of when he was 7 years old. Now, there's no 7-year-old on stage. Michael's lines are spoken by Michael, the narrator. Really clever, right up my street. It's so poetic. And Michael also tells the whole story of what happens to these women. And in places it's really heartbreaking, and in other places, I just think it's a magical play. It was on at the National fairly recently, 2 or 3 years ago I saw it. I know the play so well, I taught it in school. And it's just, Friel is such a beautiful, poetic writer. And I hope I can get the passion that he had across. So the characters I'm looking for are 5 women between the ages, or playing age, 26 to 50. Kate is the eldest. She's a school teacher. She's very straight-laced. She's desperately trying to hold the family together. Maggie looks after the home, the homemaker. Agnes and Rosie, who they describe in the script as simple, I don't think that's PC these days, they knit gloves to try and make money to survive. And Christine is the youngest, 26, and she's the mother of Michael, who's 7. So what do you, I should be doing lots of things in my auditions. I know some of you have been to my auditions before and thought, God, I didn't know that was an audition. I'm looking for people that are willing to try different things and experiment and to think back when they were 7. And so the memory is there, but it might be slightly distorted. I can remember when I was 7, I think, just about. But can you see why the lighting is going to be just so important to take us into those 2 sections? There are 2 areas in the beginning of August, and then another section 3 weeks later. So the characters I'm looking for are those 5 women, playing ages between 26 and 50. There's also their brother Jack, who is has been a missionary all his life in Uganda, and he arrives back at this time, not quite the resplendent figure that the women were expecting. And there's Jerry, Michael's father, who turns up a couple of times. Clive played Jerry in 1995.
Oh, not here. No, I played it somewhere else.
Oh, right, okay. It has already been here, like,
A long time ago.
yeah, a long time ago, 1995, I think.
I would have been too young to play Jerry.
Oh, far too young.
Very good.
I hadn't appreciated that. We'll be working through the winter. It's February the 6th to the 14th. Oh, they've got it right. But I want to start long before that. I know we audition in chronological order. We'll want to find those actresses, well, the whole team, so I can get the accents going and do a lot of work beforehand. Lovely costuming opportunities as well. I mean, it's just a dream. So I'm wanting a team that are willing to collaborate and offer their ideas. So it's a piece of art we're going to make together to put on here with a set that Michael Mary's agreed to do something nice for me, but I'm not sure how that's going to fit in on this stage because it involves an Irish cottage and outside as well. And so lots of dancing involved as well. It's just a beautiful, beautiful piece, and I'm absolutely delighted to bring it. And to John Cook, this is one that we can market without my normal containing stress, death, suicide, and I don't think there's a fuck in it. Maybe a fecking.
That's not Ireland, that's Dartmoor. That's over. Because I know that place very well. Lunchbox Farm. Right, so it's break time. As I say, just be quick, 10 minutes or something like that, and then we'll be back for the second part. Thank you. I was going to say, I expected something to happen. You're doing it for her. Sorry, I didn't know that. Bernie, as you know.
I was in the one before as well. Oh, God, that's too. It is such a good play. It's just got everything in it. And a bit different for me, for the style of the fun. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's this is the Lily and Helen, that's my choice in the
Hello, Keith Johnson.
My name's John Davis.
I am. Ian. First question, David Thompson. I've been a member of the Barn since the club was formed in 1969.
I first came to the Barn in 1956.
We moved here when I was 8. Oh my God, it's 4 years older than me. I think he was about 2000.
I was in a youth drum festival in a play called The Ring Game.
How are you?
I was cast as Billy, and I got a program. So I really yeah. Then that's you get that age. So I've been 17 red. You can imagine. November 1964. The play was called The Wrong Side of the Park.
In 1957, I played the lead in a play called Martyrs, which was directed by Belinda Cutley. And I had to wear a lot of blonde wig and smile a lot, I seem to remember. Had previously been worn by Judy Dench.
First came here in 1975 to see a play, and I was so impressed by it that so I've been a member since 2000, and the first play I came to see at the Barn was We Remember Hill. Chairman 3 times, was the very first program to called artistic direction. Well, I've gone to act basically. I've also directed, and then I was chairman for 3 years.
So really, some of them made sense. Who told me what it meant there, which was quite great. I appreciate it.
Having been a member here for over 60 years. That's one of the amazing things about it. It's really people it's just but I feel like I've been honored to be contributing to this.
We had club nights.
He used to keep the bar.
Start again, but it shouldn't be on now.
Friday night, we played quarterfinals of the All England competition. They won our play. I played one of the leads, and the other played
dear friends. So I think the productions at the bar are just getting better and better.
And parties, the New Year's Eve parties.
Very well, and the directors.
Testing.
Lucky enough to.
Sorry, can I have everyone's attention, please? Can I have everyone's attention, please? There's a Citroen car parked on Barn Close, which is blocking one of the garages. So could you please go and move it in your so light Citroen. Thank you.
One person was Michael McCartney. I was in a play called The Aspen Papers, and I can remember one evening in rehearsal in France. Took me apart and then put me back as the character he wanted me to play.
The absolute joy of being on stage or slightly off stage. But you just
Sorry, John.
yeah.
Slowly, but I'm all right. You?
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask your attention again. Can I have everyone's attention, please? The car is not a white Citroen, it's a red Citroen. Thank you.
Let's stop this by a colour line with a very white colour line. I think last time it was bringing some power on
I have to scout these days for very small hearts for very old men. Yes, it happens actually. Steve, I'm in my train, playing very small parts. Stephen has organised it so that I can see how almost yes. You certainly mentioned the word disinheritance. Oh, yeah. Lovely, yeah. Yesterday afternoon, mother-in-law was in charge. There's been one, we don't have a member. There's been one very good one, 10 years ago. This year, singing and dancing and choreography was fine. The two funny who got shredded. We went to see it with my granddaughter, you know, the way they use it at school. We had to get into it.
They always have a rule.
Ah, yeah. Perhaps you did tell me. You know what it's like? That's not really important. Permanently stored. Yeah, you probably told me on top of that. Let's go all about it.
Right next door there. I'm really nice fish.
It's the Eric what used to be the memorial hall. I don't know. So the memorial hall, memorial system, where I went to sit up by Upland and Operatic.
They did do 18 pictures. Unfortunately, sorry?
I've got yet another announcement about this car. Can everyone listen up, please? Can everyone just keep quiet for a minute? Because there's a gentleman trying to get home. There's another car we could move. It's a Peugeot CN18 G0X. If you could just move your car forward in the car park, this gentleman can pass, then you can put your car back again. It's a Peugeot CN18 G0X.
Is there somebody in front of you?
Oh, yeah. I'll say it's all the years. Well, you've got nerve damage from the dog. You've got nerve damage. And then I get full. Well, you've got nerve damage from the dog. You've got nerve damage from the stroke. You've got Anything else?
I will anyway. I've got yeah, I mean, like, it could have been worse, right? But it's not comfortable. There's no back. Just leaning against that. It's horrible. But he didn't know. It wasn't I said to him, it's not a comedy chair. It's just a joke. How do you think?
I thought you drove in the van into the top store today.
Right.
And fell. There was a wheel there.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I say?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, no. I'm not a liar. It's actually.
There you go.
Oh, gosh. That, I guess it's free. Yeah. Right. No, I think it is actually free. That's free for John, isn't it? Well, there was actually chips in there. I'm so sorry. So sorry. So sorry. I actually want to.
Right, before we get on to the second half of the proceedings proper, we've got a couple of little things, special things, well, no, one special thing and one bit of housekeeping before we get on to it. So firstly, can I introduce the stage Yvonne, who's got something to say about costumes and stuff.
I'm shaking my ladies and gentlemen, it's unusual for someone from backstage to come out front stage. Here I am. Directors and production managers, I know that you get your artistic teams, your lighting, your sound, your prompts, etc., well in advance, and they're on board from day one. Please, could you make time for the wardrobe? Going forward, the team is not an add-on. It needs to have all your actors well dressed before your productions hit the stage. I'm just going to leave you now with the words from Kenneth Branagh to his RADA students when they graduate. And his last words are, never forget your backstage crew. They are the people that make you all look like stars.
And now something a bit special that you might have read about in Bar News, if you read your Bar News, and to tell us more, here is Lou Wallace. And Zoe Watkins.
I am Lou Wallace. This is Zoe Watkins, and imagine between us is Lindsay Wallace, or imagine that that's Lindsay Wallace, but it's really Trevor Wallace over there. So we have known each other for a long time, and we have all been members of the barn for collectively, I think it adds up to nearly 100 years. What? I think so.
Impossible.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
The three of you.
Mathematically,
The three of you.
I've been a member here since I was 11.
I'm not 100, yeah. So anyway, we have formed a little collective, a creative collective to do creative things in the community, and we're calling ourselves Tea and Biscuits because we like doing that thing. We have in the audience, like eating and drinking tea and biscuits, we have in the audience some members of our first project, which is an acting showcase, an acting course for people who haven't really done a great deal of acting, or maybe did acting when they were a child. And this afternoon we had a really lovely, uplifting showcase of scenes from our 12 acting students, some of whom are out there, which was lovely. And we had another idea for a project, which Zoe will talk to you about very quickly.
Very quickly. So some of you have already taken part in this project, and we are doing something called Heritage Chats. Now, we're called Tea and Biscuits because there will always be tea and biscuits. We're looking at creativity and community. We reckon if you come in and you got a cuppa and you got a jammy dodger, you're more likely to have a good time. So that's what we did. We gave people cups of tea, we gave them biscuits, and we got them talking about the barn. We asked some questions because we want to know what our heritage is. We think it's important. We think it's important that we hand that on to other generations. So what we're about to show you is the first ever Heritage Chats with Tea and Biscuits, and this is a short version. We've got a longer version which includes amazing things from the barn archive, which is gorgeous and beautiful and deep, and we are going to we're going to go for a second round of this. So if you like what you see and you know that you've got stories to tell about the barn, then we'd love to hear from you.
I appreciate it at the time.
Having been a member here for over 60 years, I've been able to fit in quite a number of them. That's one of the amazing things about this place, is how willing people are just to do something that's necessary to be done. It doesn't have to be terribly interesting to do it, but they feel like they've been honoured to be contributing to the place.
The days when we had club nights here.
We used to keep the bar open until no one would buy and drink. In 1983, I had what I reckon was the best ever weekend I've ever had of drama. On a Friday night, we played in the quarterfinals of the All England competition with a one-act play, Erpingham Camp by Joe Alton. I played one of the leads, and the other part was played by my dear friend John Davis. And then the two of us played on Saturday night at Buxton in the Dresser. We won both festivals. I've always enjoyed rehearsals more than anything else. Eric and Louis Davis playing piano in the bar. They were magic jazz pianists. They played together as a duo, blew the place away.
So I think the productions at the barn are just getting better and better.
And the parties, the New Year's Eve parties.
Yeah, good question.
Well, a lot of the directors were very special. I think I was lucky enough to play for some of the best directors the club has ever had. I played for Mervyn Lloyd, Hugh Croydon, Eric Chorley, Jan Palmaseya more recently, Steve Thompson even more recently. Every time you play for one of them, you learn something.
One person was Michael McArdle. I was in a play called The Aspen Papers, and I can remember one evening in rehearsal here at the barn. He sort of took me apart and then put me back as the character he wanted me to play.
The absolute joy of being on stage or slightly off stage when people are giving wonderful performances is just marvellous. But I guess I'd have to put right at the top of the tree is Eric Farley.
Well, he was. I mean, he was such a showed you how to. I mean, and Norman Merriam, again, was the workshop manager as well.
All of his sets were brilliantly designed. He knew, you know, what worked on stage and what didn't work. And but then he had been chairman as well, of course. But more than anything else, he's more or less responsible for this building. I mean, there's not very much in this building that wasn't put there or repaired or altered in some way by Eric Farley.
The barn community has always meant a lot to me, but particularly when my husband died, I could come back here and just be part of the group. I could go into the bar, I could be part of a production, and it didn't matter. There was always somebody to talk to.
More than anything, it's the people.
It was important to me because I could just be Wendy. I wasn't just mum. You know, when I came here, I was just Wendy. So.
People of all ages get together and work as a team.
But it's a village, isn't it? It is a village, and like any village, you have cobblers and bakers and everything else, and we have all the different trades and experiences here, and it comes together as a production at the end of the day. And if you don't have one of those elements, the production will fall down. It's as simple as that.
Every time you're in a play, you have a new community. And I know that I will know people here, whether it's people in the bar, I'll always know somebody in the play, and being able to come by yourself and have a good time for 3 or 4 hours, and that is absolutely priceless.
There's something else that sort of mysterious about it, which I don't quite understand. There was a guy called Pat Finch. He didn't want to be on stage or direct or anything, but he used to help out in all kinds of other ways, mostly building sets. He said it kept him sane. And I think there's probably quite a lot of people who've got a similar story.
It's my church. If I had a church, this would be it.
It enables my brain to exercise.
Afterwards, when you meet those team members in the bar or wherever it is, there's something special that has pulled you together, and they are your friends for life, basically.
It really is Dr. Theatre.
I would just say the more you put in, like everything, the more you get out.
If you want a facility like this, I mean, it's a community facility. They've got to actually keep it on going by taking over where the older people get too old to do whatever they're going to do or been doing. Younger people have got to come up and take over, and it's no use waiting for someone to fall over. You've got to actually take over while they're still there.
Enjoy it.
Oh, it's lovely. Yes, as long as you remember to pause for it.
I love seeing people laugh.
Favourite biscuit?
Oh, that's a really tricky question. My favourite biscuit, Twix.
Oh, chocolate digestive.
Well, with cheese on it, digestive.
It's probably a chocolate hobnob.
Marmite.
I would have to say, I suppose, a chocolate biscuit of some sort.
It's called hobnob.
I think I'd share everyone's opinion here by saying that's absolutely brilliant.
That's rank one.
We're going to be doing it on an ongoing basis, but can we make this a feature of Directors' Evenings?
Potentially, yeah. Yeah, so round 2, get your stories ready.
Brilliant. Yeah, it won't take a year though, will it?
No.
That's brilliant. I won't do that now. Okay, so I lied to you in the first half, I'm afraid. I said there was only one director who couldn't make it here tonight, just thinking of myself and my main stage. Obviously, I forgot the studio, but Linda can't make it tonight, so in her place, Danny is going to give her presentation. Danny Swanson again.
I got told off at the interval by Rob, who said I kind of really undersold the plays evening. So eating a bit into her Belinda's time here. It's going to be really bloody amazing. Sort it out. Is that better, Rob? You try and do it. Okay. Belinda just sent this to me. She's really apologetic she can't be here. I'm going to read it verbatim because I already read it, obviously. Firstly, my apologies for not being with you tonight. That's from Belinda, not from me. Thank you. I know I'm missing the best night at the barn. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. Thank you for Danny to agreeing to do this. I know I'm in the safe hands as Danny is a fantastic act. It's good, isn't it? Cooking with Elvis was written by Lee Hall, not to be confused with Rich Hall, as I managed to do when telling someone about this play. Lee Hall's written or co-written many little-known films such as Billy Elliot, Rocket Man, Toast, Victoria and Abdul, Warhorse, and Cats. Leave Cats off, please. He also adapted Billy Elliot for the stage musical. I think you can find some time for him on the barn stage. He adapted Shakespeare in Love from screenplay to stage play, soon to be at the minute. Yeah. Among other plays, he wrote The Pitman Painters, Cooking with Elvis, and Bollocks. I've read some Bollocks in my time, but not this particular one. Cooking with Elvis was first a radio play broadcast in 1985 and a stage play adapted for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, where it played in 1999 and 2000. It was highly acclaimed and deemed one of the most popular shows during that time. It opened in the West End at the Whitehall Theatre in 2000, which is when I, Belinda, saw it. The Times claimed it was a work of wonderful bad taste, and so it is. It won't be to everyone's taste, and some will be offended. Good. The show was described as camp, comic, horrific, and in your face. A tragic farce about child abuse, wife abuse, sex, loss, and cooking. Definitely a play for the studio. Wholeheartedly agree. Maybe I'm not easily offended, but when I saw it, I just found it very funny. Some scenes have stuck firmly in my memory for 25 years, raising a smile, not an eyebrow. It's part knockabout farce, part cookery course, part philosophical investigation. It's a provocative and outrageously funny look at disability while enjoying the three greatest pleasures in the world: sex, food, and Elvis, and if you're Ian Hobnobs. The play centres on Stuart, a naive and awkward young man who works at a local baking factory. Stuart is brought home by Mam, a promiscuous alcoholic old woman out for a good time and sex. Mam orders him to remove all his clothes. It's a very good part, this, by the way. He reluctantly does so, getting down to his underpants. Fun in the studio, I can promise. When Mam's 14-year-old daughter comes in pushing her dad in a wheelchair, an odd relationship starts to develop. Dad had been an Elvis impersonator who dreamed of becoming a tribute act. After a row with his wife, he'd driven off in a temper and been involved in a serious car accident and is now a paraplegic with head trauma. He cannot move or speak, but does have one part of his anatomy working. He gets frequent erections, spelt with two R's. Could be deliberate. The daughter Jill takes solace in spending a lot of her time cooking food that her dad can't eat and mum doesn't want to eat, so Jill eats it. There are heated discussions between mother and daughter about Jill's weight, too much, and Mam's weight, too little. Stuart moves into the family home and becomes attracted to Jill, who becomes fixated by him. She also gets laid by him. In another scene, Stuart has a serious one-sided conversation with Dad whilst helping to alleviate Dad's double R erection. He's not going to come and see it, yeah? There can't be many situations where a man can move into a house and have sex with all the inhabitants, can there? Who wants to read this filth? Throughout, there are surreal moments depicting Dad's memories as he gets out of his wheelchair to sing an Elvis song or speak as if he were the king. Mam and Jill sometimes join in as backing singers. As I said before, it's very funny, and the sex scenes will be played to raise a laugh. Think of those scenes in I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change, and Madame Bovary. If they didn't make you laugh, then Cooking with Elvis is not for you. The play is set in 1999 in North East England with Geordie accents. There is a cast of 2 men and 2 women. She'll work around the ages, but Stuart's late 20s, awkward, naive, definitely not world-wise, very impressionable, a real dimp. Must be prepared to stick down to his wife once and maybe even less. The role was played by Frank Skinner in the West End. Man, sorry about that, early 40s. Dressed to kill. Mammy, I want $1 million. Dressed to kill. In short skirts, tight tops, advertising her wares. She's foul-mouthed, often a bit drunk. There's lots of people who can play this part. And very unkind to her daughter. Dad, early 40s, spends a lot of time in a wheelchair not moving. doesn't sound much of an acting job, but I'm reminded of Andy Hill. Oh, sorry, Andy Hill in Dinner. I should have mentioned that. He was the waiter that was ever present but never spoke. He had great reviews. There is the singing course, which will appeal to some who wouldn't want to be Elvis. Jill, 14. Obviously, our actor might need to be a bit older. She eats a lot. Her man keeps commenting on her weight. Stuart tells her he likes a woman with some meat on her. It's a busy role. The last member of the cast is a tortoise called Stanley, who's being interviewed for Tea and Biscuits, then quite finished with the edit. Okay, he's on his way. It's going to be a very interesting task, this in the studio. Fortunately, Belinda's very, very lucky to have most of the crew already on the team, and I know that they'll have fabulous ideas to help her. Auditions are in September, October time. No scripts to give us at the moment. If you're interested or want to know more, please have a chat with our lovely production. I can guarantee that Carol Bush is lovely, by the way. Our lovely production manager, Carol Bush, this evening. How long have I got left?
4 minutes.
I don't need it. That's it.
For something completely different, have two plays ever been in greater contrast to one another. For March, we have John Cook directing. He's going to tell you all about his show.
Hello. So I'm afraid I'm going to take you right out of all that nonsense, fun stuff. This is a very serious play. I'm going to play you a little video first of all, just to kind of set the scene and for you to kind of lose some of your laughter. Beloved brothers and sisters in Christ, today I must speak with a heavy heart, for a shadow is falling over our land. We cannot be silent, we cannot hide behind fear. If we, the people of God, the faithful of Christ, fall quiet in the face of such cruelty, then we share in its guilt. Raise your voices, speak to your neighbours, your priests, your doctors, demand that every life be honoured, every soul protected. We are not powerless. We are not alone. With God, with courage, with conscience, we can push back against this tide of death and stand for the dignity of every human being, young or old, well or weak, whole or broken. To do anything less is to betray the gospel and the very heart of our humanity. That was delivered by Cardinal Clement von Galen in 1941. I'm going to read from notes for various reasons, so I hope you don't mind that. From 1939 to 1941, tens likely thousands of Germans with mental or physical disabilities were murdered by the Nazis, including estimated 5,000 children. The executions were part of a secret euthanasia program called Action T that was designed to weed out unwanted biological characteristics. And the goal was, of course, to create a master race of perfect people. In 1941, learning of the euthanasia program, Clemens August Graf von Galen, the Bishop of Munster, spoke out. He delivered a series of sermons denouncing the killings and explicitly calling them murder. It is against the law of God and against the law of our country. This is murder. That's what he said. It's a very practical point of view that if you begin to define life as worthy of, define lives as worthy of life only if they contributed to the common good, who gets to decide what that common good is? Von Galen was very clever in pitching his argument, what effect it would have on our military. That was his kind of basis for his own arguments, because of course Germany was at war at the time. Although many of the atrocities that we've seen here that went on to be a part of the Holocaust against the Jews, the things that they were doing with these children, that nothing like that happened yet, hadn't even started yet. America wasn't even in the war then. God, peace there, sorry. So he was very clever with the way that he dealt with the Third Reich regime. Soldiers themselves, if they become injured, physically or mentally damaged, will they also be thrown away like an old machine or a cow? He didn't mention the killing of Jews. He didn't talk about racial notions. What he talked about was murder, and in such a way that everyone that was listening to the sermons would think, what if it was me? Hitler and Goebbels were furious with him at the public nature of his sermons, and initially they wanted to get rid of him, but the bishop's popularity, his public standing, his international connections, it made it too risky for them. And of course, at the time, the German population was about 40 to 45% Catholic. So he had a very big following. So it was not worth it for the regime. He was allowed to live, but he wasn't really punished. He was put under house arrest. On the back of the sermons, the T4 program were changed to mainly include those that had lost their usefulness in the concentration camps. And it was officially closed in 1941. It continued in secret until 1945. And the last person killed in the program was a 4-year-old boy that died on the 29th of May, 1945, which is 80 years ago. At the heart of it is an encounter between Bishop von Galen and a doctor involved in the Action T4 program. The play is about possibility, the possibility of courage in a world gone mad, which resonates in today's world, as we spoke about briefly earlier, when questioning power or prevailing narratives and dogma can lead to a very, very unpleasant. It's an hour and a half or so. It's about characters and real life. It's very human. It makes us think about our own values, and it invites us all to question what courage really is. It's a think piece. It's not a single issue play. It reflects this kind of quotidian creep of totalitarianism, that it's not one great decision that is made to produce these regimes, but it's a series of perhaps infinitesimal small decisions and acceptances by the general public that lead to a very, very different world. And it's the proverbial frog in the pan of boiling water. It doesn't know that it's boiling until it's far too late. It's a 5-hander, 2 women, 3 men. It's set in a single setting, which is the doctor's office in Winkelheim in Germany in 1941. I want to stress that it's not a factual piece. Bishop von Galen is a real character, but the events of the play are completely factual, although based on what was happening at the time. The main protagonist, which is Victor Franz, he's the doctor. He's an unmarried doctor and the director of the clinic. He's 35 to 50. He's the protagonist. He's very much not the hero. He knows what's going on. He facilitates what's going on. And it's that struggle for him. But he's not a hero in this story at all. Martha is the maid of the clinic, 40s to 50s. The ages are obviously... yeah, I've got literally that to do very quickly. Martha's got a husband who's in the German army. She's got a daughter, Greta, who's 17, and a son, Freddie. They don't appear in the show. Eric is the deputy director and administrator. He's overseeing the clinic. He's a young man. He could be as young as 23, but probably could go up to 30, maybe late 30s possibly. Elizabeth is a mother whose son is at the clinic that the doctor administers. And of course, we find out in the play what the fate of her son is. Really emotional part. Somebody to do that part needs to be no vanity for that part at all. It's a very emotional part. And of course, Bishop von Galen appears in the second half. Whether we run it into or not, I'm not sure, but he appears in the second half and has a long conversation with the doctor. Sorry to bring you all down. I hope some of the plays preceding this are going to bring you all back up again. But thank you.
Balance, didn't I, and variety, so it's almost impossible to follow that kind of subject matter, but we have to. We're going to enter the world of mystery, and for April, and a whodunit with a bit of a twist. And to tell us more, here's Maureen Davis.
Thank you. Yes, the late Edwina Black is a whodunit. Mystery plays and whodunit, everybody I speak to all seem to like them very much. And it got me thinking, what is the appeal of a whodunit? And I think it's because the audience actually get drawn into a world of intrigue. They watch the play, they hear all the clues that are being given out during the course of the play, and they get involved because they want to try and solve it themselves. They analyse the clues, and in respect, they do become active participants of the play. Now, most whodunits have quite a large cast. All of them are suspects, so that it makes it a little bit more difficult for the audience to try and pin down who actually has done it. But this play, we have 4 characters only, and one of them is a police officer. So that leaves us 3 suspects. So, 3 suspects, easy peasy. That's not going to be too difficult to solve. But all credit must go to the writers, William Dinner and William Moran, who have written it with so many twists and turns that you are literally kept guessing to the very last moment. And it's got all the ingredients of a whodunit. You've got betrayal, deception, intrigue, suspicion, suspense, motive, and of course, murder. The play is set in the main room of Amberwood House in the year of 1893. Edwina Black, who has been bedridden for many, many months, has suddenly died. Then, what was I going to say? I lost my thread. Yeah, she suddenly died, and all preparation. The play actually opens on the eve of the funeral. All the preparations are underway for everything to go ahead the next day, when an inspector calls at the house and he drops a bombshell. He tells Gregory Black that the funeral cannot go ahead the next day. It's got to be delayed because the doctor who has been attending Edwina is not happy about the cause of death. So there's got to be a post-mortem. And the post-mortem does confirm that Edwina has died of arsenic poisoning. Now, the 3 people that live in the house, the housekeeper, Edwina's lady companion, and obviously Gregory Black, the husband, all become very suspicious of one another. Although they've all lived in harmony prior to the death, they're now starting to make claims and counterclaims with lots of surprises along the way. And in his own way, the inspector, very pleasantly, nice man, but brain as sharp as a needle, interrogates them all, and eventually we get the clues, he's got the clues, and in the end he will reveal who's done it. Now, the play runs from 24th of April. At the moment, I don't have any crew at all, apart from my man of sound. I've got one sound man. So if anybody's interested and think it's something they might like to get involved with, do please come and have a chat with me. There's the 4 characters in the play. There are 4 juicy parts. And I'm quite excited about this, and I'm really, really looking forward to getting started on it. So that's it, really. I can't say much more, but who does?
Yeah, I must admit, when I got the play from Maureen and everything, I thought, I'll give it a read. I started reading it. I could not put it down. I read it all at one go. I literally, just twists and the turns. You just, it's really, really well written. Be a great show. Okay, moving on to another studio show now. A play I know very well. The Mercy Seat. Here's to tell us more, again, Andy Mills.
Hi, good evening everyone. My name's Andy Mills. Some of you may know me. I'm a fairly new member of the Barn. I've been in a couple of productions here, Blackadder and It's a Wonderful Life, the Christmas show this year. But I've been acting and directing in the area for about 30 odd years now, been in lots of plays, directed quite a lot of plays. I should add, given that Adam Long was here earlier, one of the plays that I was in was The Complete Works of William Shakespeare Bridge with a certain Mr. Jim Markey, who's also in the audience tonight. So that was 2 years ago now. But anyway, I'm here now to talk tonight about The Mercy Seat, part 2. Some of you may know we tried to actually do this show 2 years ago, I believe 2 years ago now, and we cast it and we started rehearsing it. And about a month before the production was going up, we lost our male character. And given it's a two-hander, it was quite difficult to try and find someone in that very short period of time to replace him. So unfortunately, we had to postpone, as it's turned out, the show until 2026, and we're going to give it another go. So The Mercy Seat. Before talking about The Mercy Seat, the playwright is a gentleman called Newell Butte. He's an American playwright. Some of you may know a lot of his work. He's a screenwriter, an actor. Five of the most famous works: In the Company of Men, which was turned into an award-winning film, and The Shape of Things was another play that he wrote, which also was a film starring Rachel Weisz and Paul Rudd, which came out in the early 2000s. So he's written a lot of plays. I went to see a play of his just a couple of weeks ago now called, I forgot what it's called now, sorry. I should know. Oh yes, In Pursuit of Loneliness, that's right, at the Park Theatre. Also wrote Van Helsing, for those of you that are into that sort of thing, the TV series. So he's done a lot of work. So let's talk about the play that I'm interested in, The Mercy Seat. The Mercy Seat actually was first performed in 2002, and its backdrop is the tragic events around 9/11. So it came out very soon after those events in 2001. The original production just off Broadway starred Sigourney Weaver and Lee Schreiber. And then it came to London in 2003, and then Sinead Cusack and John Hannah took the 2 roles. It's a two-hander. It's a single-act play. It runs for about 1 hour and 15 minutes. It's a continuous timepiece, so we run it straight through. It's a one-room set, basically, which I'll come on to in a minute. So, what is it about? So, the action takes place in an apartment in Manhattan on the 12th of September 2001. And we meet a gentleman called Ben Harcourt, who's sitting on the sofa in his apartment. His phone rings. The apartment isn't his apartment, though. It's owned by his boss, a lady called Abby, who's also his lover. So both of them should have been at work in the Twin Towers on 9/11. They weren't in the office on 9/11 because they were in Abby's apartment. Getting to know each other better, I guess is the way to put it. So they weren't at work. But obviously Ben is a married man. He has children, he has a wife. The play opens with his phone ringing. Presumably it's his wife trying to find out if he's still alive. And Ben decides, well, is this the opportunity we've been waiting for? Is it the opportunity to just disappear and start a new life? That's an urban myth, apparently, that this actually happened. Sad around those tragic events. People may or may not have done this, either for those reasons or for financial reasons, for whatever. But that's what he suggests to Abby. Abby obviously takes a rather dim view of this. In her view, he should just tell his wife that they want to be together, tell her he's alive, but then say, I'm sorry, I want to start a new life with this lady. And that's how the play starts. Now, it's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster of emotions between these two people. I'll come on to the two parts in a minute. The two fabulous parts of two actors, a male and a female part, but we see a whole range of emotions throughout the hour and 15 minutes. Some sadness to anger, there's a fight, there's a scene when they're almost getting together. You see everything that sort of relationship would entail in those particular circumstances. So, as I said, two-hander only, two brilliant characters. A Ben, 30 to 40 years old, probably, something like that. I'm not stuck on ages, but he's a man with children. So, you know, he's a man in an adulterous relationship with an older, powerful woman, his boss. So what's the attraction? Is it the power battle? Is it the sexual attraction? Maybe it's just career enhancement. We don't know, but this is all explored during the play. And is this the situation, the ideal situation, to escape his life without having to be brave enough to tell his wife he wants to leave her? Abby, the other protagonist in this play, is slightly older than Ben. In the script, it says 10 years. I'm not stuck on that necessarily, but she needs to be a little bit older than him. She's, as I say, a powerful, unmarried career woman. She's obviously works in the same office as Ben. And obviously her feelings are juxtaposed with his, but she obviously has that feeling of being the other woman in a relationship. You know, why won't he leave his wife for me? Am I destined to be left in the shelf forever? Is he only interested in me because of the office politics? And we see this whole journey the two of them make. And at the end of the play, there is a massive switch around that when I read the play for the first time, didn't see coming at all. There's a huge switch at the end of the play, which is brilliantly written in. So that's a bit about the play. So, as I said, it takes place in it'll be in the studio, obviously. The script says it's a spacious, well-appointed loft apartment with a large sitting room with a couch and maybe a chair and bookshelves and some large arched windows. When we tried to put this on 2 years ago, I had this idea of having sort of the L-shaped audience in there with window, or the shape of windows in front of the audience on one side, but they're just a shape of windows so the audience could see everything that's going on. We can obviously change that this time around, part 2, who knows. But it's meant to look like a nice apartment. But the really interesting thing is, first of all, the lighting has to have that sort of dingy, amber atmosphere the day after 9/11. I mean, I think we all remember those awful pictures we saw of everything being just covered in dust. And the script says everything in this apartment is covered in a layer of white dust. Absolutely everything. So that's the Mercy Seat. That's what it's all about. It's a fabulous piece of writing. An hour and 15 minutes, or hour and 20 minutes only. Full on, high powered, sometimes funny, sometimes terribly sad, sometimes very emotional. So what do I need? Obviously, the set. We have last time around we had a bit of a kitchen, and we had the idea of some sofas in front of them, a couple of entrance exits to make it look a representation of this loft apartment. Obviously, I need lighting and sound. Lighting is continuous. Once the lighting comes on, it stays on. It's continuous. From the production execs to everything else. And obviously, we will be re-auditioning the play. I don't know when, but I'm assuming that will be in good time.
It's all chronological.
Yeah, all chronological. Exactly. So it's on at the end of May, 27th, 30th May. That's it. Thank you.
This planet, I wonder. I don't know. If anyone, I think it is. If anyone can correct me, I'd be happy to take that. First of all, fresh from his stunning performance as Billy Bigelow in Carousel this week, Matt Greenback.
Can I say one quick thing before our time starts? If you're a new director, never agree to do a show in June. I've been sat there like a ball of sweat and anxiety for entirely waiting to speak. So thank you very much, Clive. We good? Right, yeah, go. Hello, everyone. I know it's been a long evening, but if you can stand to listen to another person give you a sales pitch for their show, then I promise you it will be worth your consciousness. There's so much I want to say about this play, but not enough time, so please excuse my tightly scripted presentation. I'm trying to pull off something different, exciting, and horrifying in equal measure. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Matt. I've been around the barn on and off for about 25 years, which is quite a depressing fact, starting out by annoying my fellow youth group members and eventually progressing to boring people on the main stage. I've also been known to solicit my services to any local theatre company who will have me in their productions. I must admit that I've never directed before, but I have assisted Lou Wallace and have also acted under many other talented directors at the barn. So I'm planning to steal everything they've taught me and claim it as my own. I should at this point say a quick thank you to Clive for being kind or foolish enough to cooperate with me. Really, this all dates back to 2016, where one afternoon at the barn, I was having a chat with Kim Southey, when she asked me if I wanted to pretend to be a student and come to see a play with her at Royal Court. I said, yes, of course, because I love petty fraud. And I'm incredibly glad I did. Due to that spur of the moment and casually deceitful decision, I was lucky enough to experience one of the most captivating and unusual plays I've ever seen. We talked about it at length on the train home, and to this day, I will still talk about it to anyone who will listen. It has always stuck with me in the best possible way, and now I get to share it with you all. So, I'm delighted to be bringing you X by Alison McDowell. I've never seen that, that's wonderful. Firstly, a note on the playwright you may not yet know. Since 2009, McDowell has written a large handful of great plays which have been staged at the Royal Court, the Royal Exchange and the Nashville, amongst others. On the Royal Court Playwrights podcast, Simon Stevens described McDowell's writing as having a fundamental tension which renders it extraordinary. Whether he is writing plays under the shadow of time travel, superheroes, H.P. Lovecraft-esque horror or science fiction, this genre fascination is always counterpointed by a tender understanding of the heartbreaking group of family and a genuine political rage at the injustices of poverty in England. Those words alone excite me, let alone the ones in the text. And from the mentions of science fiction and superheroes, you can already tell that it's going to be a bit weird. You would probably be forgiven for thinking that this play could be about, I don't know, a mutant Superman from a council estate in an underfunded town in the north of England. However, this could not be further from the truth. When X first played at the Royal Court, it was summarised with this chilling passage. Billions of miles from home, the lone research base on Pluto has lost contact with Earth. Unable to leave or send for help, the skeleton crew sit waiting. Waiting long enough for time to start eating away at them. To lose all sense of it. To start seeing things in the dark outside. Yes, it's set in space. Yes, that's quite weird. And no, I can't think of any other plays which are set anywhere except Earth either. But I would ask you to look beyond the shock of the genre and focus on the themes of the piece. McDowell himself has said that it's a relationship drama which just happens to be set in space. Despite the futuristic setting, the majority of this play is fairly believable. There are no green aliens or lightsabers, sorry. These are just normal people who are doing a job and happen to find themselves stranded with no way home. This situation could happen anywhere. Imagine your car breaks down on a remote country road at midnight. There's no phone signal, no street lights, just you, the car, and the dark. After the frustration wears off, the sense of abandonment and of fear is the same. And the longer you wait there, the worse it becomes. Now imagine how it would feel if you were there for 3 weeks. That is the starting point for X. 3 weeks on Pluto with no contact. Underneath the sci-fi setting, this play is really about how people cope or can't cope when they realise that this could be the rest of their life. So now would probably be a good time to say that if you want to be in this play, please be prepared to explore some difficult feelings, because there are some themes which could easily upset people. If we do them right, X will feature some extremely hard-hitting scenes, a walkout or two by the interval, but I'm okay with that. I would rather put on a piece of theatre that challenges people and has them talk for days afterwards trying to process what they've just seen, than to get a, yeah, it was all right, from something simpler. But I'm supposed to be selling it to you, aren't I? Thankfully, as Newton's third law of motion teaches us, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So whilst X is about isolation, loneliness, and the bleak nothingness of life, a universe which doesn't care about your existence, it is also about what makes us human. Love, life, and the connections which keep us going whilst everything else is falling apart. In spite of the dark subject matter, the play is funny and is light-hearted in places, and I promise you we will have fun in the process. Also, I will have Carol Bush aiding me as production manager, who is a retired psychotherapist, so if everything gets a bit much, we're in safe hands. As for the plot itself, I don't really want to tell you too much about what happens. The piece appears to be very naturalistic to start with, but there is a hidden layer which, once you work out, brings a whole new dynamic to what you're seeing unfold in front of you, although that could be the wrong word. I'll leave you to figure it out. So, onto the characters. I won't give a fixed age for any character, but I will say there are 3 age brackets which must look right for the dynamics of the piece. We've got 3 men, 2 women, and a creepy young girl, but I won't talk about that role today. From the older bracket, we have Ray. Ray is the captain, an astronaut with great experience and close to retirement from the space agency. He is a dominant, curmudgeonly leader with a soft underside who is already struggling with the situation from the word go. He has some great deadpan humour and stars in the most chilling scene of the play. We've got 3 characters in the middle bracket. First of all is Gilda. She is our nervous, unsure, hair-chewing, reluctant protagonist who rides the play rather than drives it. A geologist and second in command on the base. Despite initially showing very few leadership qualities, she grows in confidence and then contracts into madness throughout the play. He's an outstanding role for someone. Then from the middle bracket, we have Clark, a mathematician and computer scientist. He appears to be a cocky, seemingly feckless man at times, but is actually highly intelligent and sensitive. He provides a lot of the light relief in the piece with his put-downs. I would quite like this character to be played either with a northern or regional accent, but I'm happy to hear any interpretations at the eventual auditions. And finally, from the middle bracket, we have Cole, a meteorologist who is the key to discovering what is actually happening in the play. A father who left his son back on Earth for this job. He is very studious, not as confident as Clark, and is what is known as a prepper. Finally, from the younger bracket, we have Matty. Matty, her job role is never exactly defined, but you could say she maintains the base. Confident, practical, open, possibly a little too open at times. She is the complete antithesis of Gilda, but somehow helps to guide her at key moments in the piece. These are 5 brilliant roles for hopefully 5 brilliant actors. So please do come and audition. Now for the fun stuff, the technical side. The play is heavily reliant on technical aspects for it to work as intended. So I would love to establish a technical team and begin working together as soon as possible. For a start, James and I have to turn the barn into a research base on Pluto, which is no easy task. I have done a concept set design, but I have a list of things I'd like in an ideal world, which I don't know how to make happen. Prepare yourself. I need a digital display we can control at will. I want to put a roof on the stage. I want a giant 3-foot-long dead nightingale. I want to use specialist paint which absorbs 99% of all light to replicate the blackness of space. I need quite a bit of blood, but blood that can show different ages of being there and can easily be removed with no trace. I'd love to have a kitchen that can fold away into the wall, but still has working cupboards. And finally, I'd like to have a ladder that attaches to the other wall, which a cast member can climb to a hatch in the false ceiling. Some of this might not be possible, but I want to find people who are equally excited by these ideas to push the boundaries and work together to find technical and safe solutions to these problems. Thank you. By rights, I should probably be doing a play that is, set somewhere on Earth with a basic set and simple characters for my first time directing, but that doesn't excite me. I am hungry for this challenge, and I am excited to work with people who are far more technically gifted than I am to create the vision I have in my head for X. So if you are technically minded and any of this sounds remotely interesting to you, please come and talk to me about it. I could honestly ramble on about X all night, and there's probably lots of salient information I've missed out. But to sum up, this play features love, loss, deaths, birth, fear, abject terror, a classic acting exercise, a world of interesting technical obstacles, and a game of Guess Who on Pluto. So who wouldn't want to be a part of this production? I'll be in the bar if you want to talk to me about it or have any questions. If you've listened to this and don't think you want to be involved, then please come and see it. It's mad but brilliant, and I love it. I know every director says this, but I genuinely think this is one of the most interesting plays of the season, and I cannot wait to get started on it. Thank you for your time.
One of the most original things I've ever read, so I don't see any other things, but should be great. Right, we come up to the last item on the agenda, as it were. The youth production, that we haven't had a youth production for some years now, taking on the mantle for it, and given his Director's Evening record, he's probably going to reveal that he really is Woody Allen. Rob Graham.
Thank you, Clive. We've had some good fun moments this evening. The best one I've Lou, a production manager. I mean, well, interesting. Danny doing his Al Jolson impersonation. Or Clive's exploding chair. Well done, props. Excellent. this time next year, it'll be 9 years since we put a barn youth group show on the main stage, which is scandalous, frankly. It's ridiculous, given that the kids are the lifeblood of this theatre, and given we've seen the video that we saw of like Keith and Annie and David and Ian. We need to progress and make sure that this theatre continues. So we've got to get the kids on the main stage. So I had to persuade Jacqueline, who is in charge of the youth group. I said, look, Jacqueline, you really need to get your act together. We really need to try and do this and get the kids on the main stage. That's how it happened, Jacqueline, wasn't it? Anyway, they say don't work with children and animals, but I mean, I've directed Danny Swanson and Paul Russell.
Directed?
Yeah. Well, I try. I mean, as it happens, we work with a bunch of kids on It's a Wonderful Life, and I was genuinely surprised how much fun we had with the kids, because they don't answer back. You say stand there, and they stand there, and they then go, "Oh, Rob, don't you think we should do it like this?" So we had none of that shit. And we had about 30 kids came to the audition when we had like 3-4 parts or something. So there's so much enthusiasm there. So I genuinely, we had some great moments actually when we were working with the kids on that show. Anyway, so we've chosen to play Death. What is it with me and death? It's always about death, isn't it? I don't know. I can't get too happy, really. If I start getting the slightest bit amused, what do? Well, I listen to one of Marco Sullivan's Lemonade podcast. Too much, too soon. He's not here. It's all right.
Dream though.
Yeah. So, Death, it's a one-act anarchic comedy written by Woody Allen, and it's based on Ionesco's play The Killer. Woody Allen turned it into a film called Shadows and Fog. It's loosely based on that, so it is actually available on the not that you're going to watch it, your eyes anyway. And playing dates are going to be 14th to the 18th of July. Yeah, so it's an anarchic comedy. I think it'll be really, really well suited to the kids. Danny actually suggested it to me. Fair play. Yeah, I read it. It's really, really good. The premise, it's very simple. The premise is there's a chap called Kleinman who's a meek salesman who's woken up in the middle of the night by a mob, a vigilante mob, and they basically cajoled him into joining it into their vigilante group to try and find a serial killer. But they don't really tell him what his part in the plan to find the serial killer is, and so he wanders around a bit aimlessly and confused, pretty much through the play, bumping into other characters who all make out they know what they're doing, but they don't really know what they're doing. There's lots of anarchic comedy results. One of the lines he says when he talks about his vigilante group, he says, "I don't know whether we're too organised as a group or not organised enough." It's a bit like rehearsals for A Midsummer Night's Dream. Oh, it's another joke! Come on! Anyway, the play is full of witty one-liners. I'm not afraid of dying, I just want to be there when it happens. The play's got about 20 characters in it. I think probably I'll want around about 10 to 12 kids in it. I'm not going to make the same mistake as Steve Thompson and go into all the youth group and say, I want you all to be in it, and then leave to Jacqueline to unwind. It will definitely be an audition process, so not everyone will be in it. I want it to be a high production values, unlike my other plays. The central character, Climate, is an absolute belter of a role, so I'm going to want a really strong character to play that. There's some really good other roles in there as well. There's even there's a Lady of the Night, which is quite interesting for a youth play. But anyway, we'll sweep over that. I'm not going to put any age restriction on it, either higher or lower. But I think given the time of the year when we put this on, peak GCSE and A-level season, I suspect it's going to appeal more to the Pidgewigian and Hedwig groups, probably, and Errol, maybe. I think the youngest group, 6 to 8, probably going to be too young, but I won't rule it out. I'll be pitching it to all the youth groups in December. Auditions will be early 26. We'll be starting after Easter. It'd be nice if I've got some of the kids to shadow backstage. So I want adults backstage, but it'd be nice if some kids who aren't cast who want to do backstage work will shadow them, so they get an idea of stage. Crew-wise, Jacqueline is my production manager. Thank you so much. I've got lots of sound and lighting people saying they want to help, which is great. Tristan, Simon, John Gardner. So I have to try and work out how I'm going to utilise them all. But I will need I need a stage manager. Obviously, I need props, wardrobe. Sorry, Yvonne, I think that was probably me that was aimed at for It's a Wonderful Life. Sorry about that. Set design. I want to keep it simple, but we could do some help on that. And lots and lots of chaperones, of course. So what better for a children's play? A play written by someone who's accused of sexual abuse about death with a prostitute. I mean, it's perfect, isn't it? So that's it. One thing I will say at the end is when this goes on, and let's face it, it's like 15 months away, so it's miles away, you'll all forget. But I will be encouraging you all to come and watch it to support the youth. Thanks very much. Thanks.